Well, members, I told you it would be easy. A walk in the park. And you didn't believe me. We began this journey together almost 100 days ago, guided by a singular vision that we would govern as we campaigned. And the indictment on our political process is that in this day, in this age, that type of leadership warrants outrage, vehement opposition, and personal attacks. But so be it. Because everything we have done so far, we have done to keep faith with the people who have sent us here. We adopted the toughest ethics and transparency rules of any state and any union. We shine the biggest and brightest spotlight on our budget process, and we have ended the shadowy process of pork barrel budgets that waste millions of taxpayer dollars. We questioned an agency's expenses and exposed their failures and their abuses. We forced another agency into the sunshine. We sued a rapper and won, only to reveal more wasteful spending. We insisted universities, local TDCs, local EDCs disclose their spending, which up until this point had been mostly outside of public scrutiny. We demanded that state agencies account for how they're spending taxpayer money. And we refused to pay millions of dollars in legal fees until we had a bipartisan audit completed. We dusted off our impeachment power and bought attention to a judge who engaged in racist and sexist rhetoric, and another judge who's still on the bench despite proven misconduct. The first judge resigned, and the second judge, our state Supreme Court, recently suspended. And we sued the Department of Lottery, who took it upon themselves to expand gaming, and then engaged a high-priced, taxpayer-paid lawyer who entered into the novel argument that they could do this because the money that the lottery proceeds were going to were a good purpose, so they didn't have to follow the law. That trial was yesterday, and I can assure you we will win. We have taken on each of these fights because they were the right thing to do. And that is the mission we will carry forward. And for those organizations and agencies unwilling to change, who somehow think that they're special, that they're exempt, that they're above the law, know this, that we will stand up and we will fight for the taxpayers. And we don't in the philosophy. But I'm here to tell you that that's okay. It really, really is. Many pundits have taken the debates between the judiciary and the legislature and the Senate and the House and the executive and used it to portend doom. But the complete opposite is actually the truth. A robust civil debate is a sign that our democracy is working. When we get lazy and we start rubber stamping bills and we refuse to engage in intellectual, honest debate, that's when the people should worry. And even a special session is not a disaster. It's just a more complicated, longer discussion. And the issues that we deal with, sometimes they're so complex and they're so important to the future of our state that they demand and they merit that additional discussion. It's called a marketplace of ideas, and it's made our country the wonder of the world. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Debate can be intense, especially when you're dealing with people's lives. But we can be passionate about these issues and never, ever, ever get personal. And with this in mind, I want to say to Leader Cruz and our Democratic colleagues that I firmly believe that our greatest accomplishments that we achieve this session will be done fighting alongside each other, not fighting against each other. I also want to deliver a message to all those entities that the House has been engaged with. We extend our hand to you. Come to the table, sit down, work with us in coming up with real reform and true accountability. We don't believe the House has a corner on the market of ideas. We're willing to listen, we're willing to talk, and we're willing to engage in true, real, right compromise. A perfect example of this is the change to the rules that we're about to adopt. They are the most transparent and accountable joint rules of any state in the union. And yes, passions ran high. And yes, the rhetoric was intense. And the negotiations were fierce. And yes, the entire media said that this entire building was going to go to hell in a handbasket based on those differences in our rules. But look where we ended up. Look where we are right now, in a historic moment where the people of this state benefit tremendously. So I'll close with this. When we began this journey together, we promised to be better, to do things differently, to raise ourselves to a higher standard, and we will. We won't fear debate or dissent. We won't fear tough, bold ideas or difficult decisions. What we will fear are those poor, timid souls who sat in these chairs and never stood for one meaningful idea and never made one meaningful change. Lawmaking is about making choices. So let's choose courage over safety. Let's choose people over politics. Let us never have to worry about that agonizing pain of regret. Let's never be afraid to fight for what is right. Let's be afraid of being afraid. So remember, over the next 60 days, let's fight. Let's joyfully and proudly go crashing against the special interests and the status quo and show the people of this state that this House truly belongs to them. God bless our state, and God bless our union. Thank you.